Our next caller is Ricky from Pennsylvania.
What's up, Ricky? How can we help you?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
All right.
So first, I just wanted to thank you guys for all the content you guys produce. It's definitely been helpful to help me build my exercise habits and reinforce some concepts. So even though I've heard you guys repeat some things over the years, hearing those messages when they're more applicable has certainly been helpful for me.
Cool.
Awesome.
So my question for you guys is based around rowing as a method of cardio exercise. So I wanted to hear your opinion comparing the rower to other alternative forms of cardio, as well as comparing it to the sled. So I hear you guys tout the sled all the time. I've used the sled and like the sled, but my hypothesis essentially is that as long as you keep the movement explosive, that it has that similar benefit of not having the eccentric portion of the movement, and can improve your cardio fitness while maintaining or even building some strength for the full body. So my goal really is to optimize kind of that cost benefit of adding in that cardio exercise while maintaining or improving strength. And I'm essentially proposing the rower as an optimal solution there.
Okay.
I love the rower.
Is this a bet that you made with someone? Because the way you wrote the question is, would you agree that the rower is a superior form of cardio compared to? I feel like you made a bet with someone. You're like, let me ask Mind Pump.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. So I did a Spartan race in the spring, and a friend of mine who was training to do it with me, I had been touting to him all along the course of our training
I knew it.
that the rower was one of the best ways to prepare for that. So
Yeah.
definitely helpful to have your guys. I'm hoping to send this clip to him.
Yeah, I knew it. I could tell. Okay.
Yeah. I think you can use the sled for cardio. I just don't think it's quite as effective of a use of it in terms of building volume for the legs and having that type of a stimulus. I think it's amazing for that. But sprinting with it, doing more anaerobic type of cardiovascular with it, I think works. But in terms of comparing that to the rowing machines,
not even close
comparison.
not on the VO2 max level. Not on VO2 max. There's no way. I mean, unless you have like a mile long stretch, you can push
it for days.
You can push the sled for a half hour straight, like straightforward. But the rower is going to give you that. Now that being said, and I think we've talked about this on the show plenty of times, is that nothing would get you better at a Spartan race than running Spartan races, like as far as the cardiovascular endurance that it takes to do that, right? So now I think the rower has more carryover than the sled. If I had to choose, and this was to win an argument, and one of us decided we're going to go all rower, one of us said we're going to just push the sled, I think the person that got really good at rowing would have an advantage for sure over the person that just did the sled.
It's okay. So Ricky, here's the challenge I have with this question. I need to know, number one, why and for what. Yeah. So, okay, VO2 max, there's general VO2 max that you can build up, but it means nothing unless it's applied somewhere. And it means nothing unless we know why, right? So if somebody says, I want to improve my VO2 max, the question is always, well, why? Well, I want to get better at swimming. So what's the best form of exercise for that? Swimming, right? Because there's a technical skill aspect that's involved. So like you could have a professional cyclist and a professional marathon runner both have, let's say the marathon runner has a better VO2 max tested than the cyclist. Well, guess what? In a competition to see who could cycle the furthest and the best, the cyclist is going to win. So it really doesn't matter. So I got to know why you're asking this question and what for. Now, if it's for just general VO2 max, then I mean, I guess we can make an argument for the rower versus others. But again, unless you're applying it somewhere, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Now, if your question is, what's the best way to build stamina and endurance and not lose muscle, or maybe simultaneously build muscle, that's sprinting of any sort on any form of cardio. And I would say the sled, a sprint on the sled is going to build muscle.
Well, yeah, because you could load that. Yeah. So it's not even, and then it's not even close, right? So if it's muscle retention or building of muscle
while getting stamina,
the sled's going to win that.
Yeah. Work capacity.
But I mean, if it's just pure VO2, which one's going to be better there? The rower's going to be better than that.
Yeah. But is there something specific you want to improve this for? Is it for the Spartan races?
No, and you guys kind of hit on it with that last point. So I've done Spartan races in the past. I'm not necessarily training for anything specific. It's really that general cardio fitness for just an active lifestyle and, recreational sports, whether it's pickup basketball or whatever the case may be.
I see. So you're looking for something to improve your stamina for all the other fun stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, your best bet is to do a combination of things then, because if you're going to be playing basketball, rock climbing, hiking, surfing, you're going to want. I'll tell you a story, Ricky. When I used to train real hard in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, at one point I built up a lot of stamina, so I could roll for hours with multiple opponents. It was really hard, but I built up this tremendous stamina. Then I went and did kickboxing with a friend of mine who was a Muay Thai fighter, and I was fit for Jiu-Jitsu. I was so surprised how gassed out I got after 15 minutes of Muay Thai, okay? And he said he experienced something similar when he would go and do Jiu-Jitsu. And that's because of the skill aspect of it. Like you could have incredible fitness, but just be so exhausted.
You're not energy efficient with it.
So energy inefficient. So if you want to develop energy efficiency for like recreational stuff, well, of course, the best answer is to do more of the recreational stuff. But if that's not an option, then I would mix it up. I would do some rower, I would do some running, I would do some sled, because then you're going to get kind of this general type of carryover. So I hope that makes sense.
Ricky, I think you probably need to stay home and watch more basketball, because if you think that ISO ball that the Sixers play has any chance against the Warriors, you're mistaken.
What?
So, Adam, in fairness, when I submitted the question, it was before the season started, and I saw what this team looks like. But hoping they turn it around soon.
Oh man,
Doug just pushed me. Just sent me a note. I just saw that, so I had to comment on that for sure.
Ricky, let me send you Maps Cardio. It's an endurance based program, but there's strength training involved. You can follow the program as it's laid out if you really want to build endurance, or you can look in, see how we programmed it, and get some ideas for your own workout.
Great program for him.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in.
Thanks, guys.
You got it.
Doug put that up there.
That's fine. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Have you guys experienced that where you're like super fit for a sport, go play something else, and you're like, wow, I'm gassed out.
Yeah, and you're just like, why? Because I was in such good shape. Like, as especially, it was like basketball. I forget. I think it was going into Muay Thai as well. Like, just how. But it's such a different skill set, a different way to move your body. So you have to learn all that and how to be efficient with that, because it's just like you're trying to do all these things and brace and compensate, and your body's just like working overtime.
There's got to be some studies though, Sal. This would be actually a fun study
on
to
just
see.
VO2 max.
Well, yeah, or just like somebody who just swam, who got like, let's say a swimmer who like got really good increased VO2 max, how much carryover that had to all these other general sports. This person just did it this way. Like which one
translates?
Like I would speculate something like swimming, which incorporates the entire body really well and takes a lot of endurance to do that. Would have more carryover than say something that's like a Stairmaster.
Okay, so
just climbing up stairs.
Okay, so I don't think there's any specific studies like that, but there are studies looking at athletes to see which athletes do the best in other sports, and the ones that do the worst in all other sports are swimmers. And now it's not because swimming isn't a great workout.
Well, it's such a different environment.
It's because what makes your body good at swimming makes you terrible on land.
Yeah, okay, so
it's really hard.
That's different though, right?
Yes, you're right.
That's different. Like I would speculate
you use the water a lot.
Well, I mean, Michael Phelps is 6'4" or something like that, and he's got his legs are as long as 5'9".
Right, not conducive for other sports. It's not conducive for other sports at all. And you have to have this kind of it's not it's different type of power and strength that was required to do it. It's definitely more endurance. So I definitely don't think.
It's like, how would they test it though?
Basketball is probably up there.
The question is, how would they test it?
Too.
Like they do VO2 max tests.
Well, what you would do is you would have like they would all have their sport that they train, and then they would all do other ones, and then you'd see like fatigue, right? You have to measure like fatigue or heart rate.
They've done VO2 max studies to see who's measured the highest VO2 maxes in history. Lance Armstrong, and then there was this marathon runner that was up there. Maybe Doug could look it up. They both had hit like the highest scores, I believe, that they'd ever seen in VO2 max. But to test people in other sports, there's so much involved.
It'd be so weird. Because even tennis would just exhaust everybody, but so much lateral movement nobody ever does, right? And so that would just gas somebody right away.
Totally. So it would be a really hard thing to test. But maybe Doug can find the VO2, like who's tested the highest VO2 maxes in history. And I'm pretty sure there was Lance Armstrong was up there as one of the.
Well, can you even use him as accounting?
I know.
All the drugs.
No,
all
not-
EPO and
well-
everything else he's like shooting in.
Oh wow, look at that. So male, what sports are those? 96.7 was the highest VO2 max score that anyone's ever seen. I think he's a cyclist.
Yeah.
Which, by the the way, just to give people an
That's the whole
example,
sport is really to
look at. Did you see the difference between
maximize
the
that.
best ever measured for men versus women?
Yeah.
97
Like
for a man,
20 some
78
points. Yeah.
for a female.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
And a lot of people don't know this, that building. Lance Armstrong's was 85.
So how it's another cool thing that I've read about VO2 max that I find really interesting is how quickly you can increase that.
You're right.
Like it takes years to build strength. You're really strong.
It's measurable within a week.
Yes, like you can make a huge difference in a very short period of time.
Did you see what it said, by the way, just so people understand? The average person's VO2 max is 45. So you had Lance at 85 and these other people at 90 something, which is insane. By the way, one of the easiest ways to raise your VO2 max, build muscle. More muscle. That's why men score so much higher. Muscle is a one way of being able to consume energy and oxygen. So just building muscle increases your VO2 max.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Now, of course, there's like a fall off, like get so much muscle. And then there's, but average person builds muscle, VO2 max goes up right away.
That is interesting. I wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
It makes sense when you say that.
We have our VO2 max guide, and in there is it breaks down all the ways to boost your VO2 max.